What falls but never breaks, and breaks but never falls. You inhale deeply. Crisp air floods your lungs as if the space had been entirely emptied before, and the dust and cobwebs are exhaled with your breath. Your head clears. Nightfall and daybreak. The stars sparkle in the night sky, sharpened by the cold. The last grip of the sun had retreated, leaving just you, the crossroads, and the nighttime. The waiting is surprisingly hard, just as it always is. You cannot remember your first night. It must have been long ago to have been so thoroughly swallowed up and abandoned by your memory. But the waiting has never really eased. You keep waiting for it to become routine, to become natural. It hasn't. Not yet. Watching the stars rotate above, the moon sliding smoothly through the heavens, feels like a holy ritual. That is, until the petitioners come. Their presence requires that you profane the crossroads you stand upon so thoroughly that you would hate the very dirt beneath your feet if it would change anything. You dread the petitioners and their stories, their wails, their requests. It sours your stomach to think of them. And then, some nights, none came. You're not sure which is worse. Time is too slippery a thing for you to hold on to anymore. You don't know how much of the night has passed when the first appears. There's a weak puff of air, a breath caught before it escapes the body, against your face. It's your only warning before the spirit appears. Your skin tingles, the sensation of being watched, and your whole body stiffens. Petitioner, state your name. Where am I? The spirit's voice is an echo of what it was in life, a deep baritone with an odd tremble, like the warble of nerves. You sigh softly, taking a moment's pause to let the spirit gather itself. The in-between it occupies, the space between life and death, is often disorienting, and few answer your question the first time it's asked. You are at the crossroads. State your name. The crossroads? They're real? It's not your job to answer his questions, and you've already answered one. You opt to remain silent until he returns the favor. The spirit looks around, frantic, as if trying to determine its location. Growing impatient, you run your tongue over your teeth. Their edges are razor sharp, but never seem to catch your skin. I'm Cyril. But just Cyril is plenty, thank you. Make your request, Cyril. State your case. They always have a case, a reason. Some are more exceptional than others, but each petitioner has their story. What those stories are barely matter to you, but you must hear them nonetheless. I can't die. Not yet. You don't understand. I need more time. I have a family. I have a wife. You can't take me yet. You misunderstand. I'm not the one who took you. I'm not a reaper. I'm a crossroad keeper. I do not deal in life and death. You don't. His fear is palpable, a thickness in the air. It tastes like salt and burnt sugar. No, I deal in promises. Promises made are promises kept. That is what I can do for you. I can make you a promise, and in return, you will make me a promise. You keep yours, I keep mine. If you don't keep yours, well, then I can't keep mine either. Do you understand? Yes. Yes, please. Help me. He doesn't understand, but his comprehension isn't your responsibility. So, what is it you want, Cyril? My wife. She's pregnant. With a first baby. I can't leave her now. She needs me, please. I need more time with her. You eye him, frowning slightly. To him, you appear a being wrapped in shadows, face indiscernible, but he seems to sense your displeasure. Even just 5 years? Please, I just need time. He begs for more time. Most of them do. You grant it. You deny his request. Give him what he specified, no more. Offer as much time as you can for a small promise in return. What? Man, I don't... You know what? I'm curious what the small promise is. And I'm pretty sure he's going to butcher it. I can offer you this. You can have as much time as you can keep. Avoid another untimely demise, and you could live to grow old with your wife. All you must do is turn the visitor under your roof away the moment you return home. That's all? Yes. Simply keep your promise and I'll keep mine. Yes, I will. You must say the words, Cyril. I promise. That is a cool transition. I can fly, but never cease. But all things gone to me. I can be lost and found, wasted and wanted. But once gone, I am gone forever. What? Oh man, I didn't think that I actually had to write my, riddle answers. Okay, my guess for this, and no, I did not read up the answer, is time. It should be time. Did I get it right? Did I do it right? Please tell me I got it right. Time. You feel the moment he returns to his body, an inhale of that near last breath brushing your skin. You know he will keep his promise. He will return home and immediately turn out the visitor he brought into his home only last night. In turn, that visitor will kill him. He will be dead within the hour, and his soul will be collected. There will be no more chances for life. The clearing remains empty, nearly peaceful, if the stain of what had just transpired didn't mar it so well. Until it doesn't, and it isn't. But it is not a petitioner. It can't possibly be, for this one is. Hi, cutie. What's up? Alive. It's not completely beyond the realm of possibility. Certain other living humans have come to retrieve promises before, but you've never seen it happen. He walks down the center of the road, eyes on the ground, scanning the area as he approaches the crossroads, and you standing in their center. He doesn't see you, you're certain, but it does not make it feel any less strange when he stops barely a foot away, his eyes scanning around him before returning to the object in his hands. He holds a small wooden box in his hands, carved with symbols that tickle your consciousness with a familiarity just out of reach. There are things within the box. You know you can't see what. He places the box on the ground, practically at your feet, and then places a flower on top of it. It's really a bunch of flowers, tiny yellow things, clustered atop a thin, branching stem. You aren't able to identify the flowers before. He lights the box on fire, and the entire thing goes up in flames. You wish to step back, but of course you can't. Your feet can never leave the absolute center of where this road crosses the other. It's a meaningless desire anyway. The fire won't hurt. You can't even feel its heat. The man allows the box to burn until the flames go out on their own, and then he looks around. He doesn't seem to see anything, and you wish you could reach out to him, to signal to him. The desire snuffed out quickly, replaced by a bolt of anxiety that makes it hard to breathe. You can feel your boss's disapproval, as if his fist is clutching your spine. He waits, you're not sure how long, but by the time he approaches the box once more, the stars have shifted. Somehow, the wooden box itself seems to be unburnt. He lifts the box up, peers inside, and then empties the ashes into the road. Cloud billows up from the ground, and he annoyedly waves a hand through them to disperse them faster. He kicks at the dirt, once with a booted toe, hard, and then turns, sharply on his heel, and leaves. You find yourself staring after him for the rest of the night. It's been days, at least, since anyone came to your crossroad, alive or otherwise. You had hoped for a time that you would see the odd man again, but it had faded quickly. He had probably been in the wrong place. The waiting was starting to blend itself, time feeling very long, then very short, and then it didn't even apply to you at all. Could time even apply to a creature that isn't truly alive or dead, but finds themselves firmly in the seam between the two? You see the shape before you, feel the breath, This one is sharp and fast. A blast of air into your face. Thankfully, it's dry. Where am I? What's happening? You sigh. You can do your speech without thought. It's the same every time. You do it now. Had you actually been bothered by being alone for so long just a few minutes ago? You long for it now. What's your name? I'm Greer. Please, it's just me and my sister. It's just the two of us. Our parents are... Who knows where they are? It doesn't matter. It's only us. She's too young to be alone. I can help with that if... I'll do whatever I need to do. I just need my sister to be safe, to be taken care of. She's only 8. She's too young to be on her own, and we don't have anyone else. You calm them down enough to explain what you can do for them. I just need to know what it is you're looking for. I just need to take care of my sister. She's the only thing that matters. There's a buzz in your spine. Your boss loves petitioners like these, the open-ended ones, the truly desperate ones. It sits unhappily, a weight at the dead center of your chest, but you push past it to speak. They need something from you, and they're willing to deal for it. Do you grant them what they seek? Offer them the promise to stay with their sister. They haven't asked for anything. That's how this works. They need to ask. You will not promise them anything. I'll offer them the promise to stay with their sister. They haven't asked for anything specific, but they don't need to. You know what it is they want. I can promise you that you can watch over your sister. Keep her safe. Yes, please! I'll do anything! Please! In return, you must promise that she will never know that you are alive, nor present. You can never contact her in any way. Do you understand? They stop. Their silence is profoundly heavy. The silence of loss in slow motion. You feel an odd twang in your chest, as if someone plucked at your lung. Never? Never. You expect pushback. You expect bargaining or begging or anything similar. You're ready for it. They're desperate. But it's clear they love their sister very much. They don't want to lose her, and she would still be so alone. Okay, I'll do it. And then, to your surprise, I promise. Unprompted. Interesting. A smile curves your lip, and you fight it. You might like this one. It'd be better not to. Okay, next riddle. What are you gonna throw at me? What can be stolen, broken, or given, but never leaves? Okay, apparently there is a hint button in this game. I think it's down here. What? Oh, yes, hint. Kept safe by one most loved. What do you mean? Wait, I think I know what this says. It's hot. It's hot. It should be hot. Hot. Is that right? Is that right? Did I do it right? Did I do it right? I mean, because a heart can't leave. It can be stolen, broken, and given. Hot. It's an odd thing how intensely this person loves their sister. To give them up in favor of their best interests, it's enough to create some kind of vague... Maybe it's longing? Loneliness? Something tickles the back of your throat, demanding your notice, but you push it back. Greer will last. They will watch over their sister, make sure she's safe, guide new, loving people into her life, so she is not alone. They will shadow their sister until she does not need them anymore. And then they will leave. You find yourself harboring a small, secret hope for Greer. Hope that they find a life too, while they endeavor to save their sisters. It's a hope that flies in the face of what you know and what you've seen time and time again. Greer will regret their choice, but by then, it'll be too late. Their life will have passed them by. The man is back. He has an easy way of walking, a casual stride that sways like a jazz tune. He doesn't have the box, and he doesn't come all the way to the center of your crossroad. Instead, he stands in the grass across from you, surveying the area, as if he was expecting to meet someone. Then he pops the cork of some small bottle he holds in his hand and tosses it back like he expects it to taste foul. He doesn't flinch, as if it does taste bad. However, you find yourself observing him keenly. He has a birthmark. He has a birthmark on his neck, and just above it, a jagged scar that's sealed pink. It looks jagged and dangerous. Staring at it gives you the same calm as watching the stars swirl by. When you look at his face again, he's looking through you to whatever is behind you. You glance over your shoulder. but nothing's there. Then you realize he's looking at you.
Hey.
Ah! Your voice! It's God, it sent tingles. There you are. You're back. It was the first thing that came to mind, the oddest part of it all. You're not sure you've ever had someone come back, even if this one is alive. You remember me? His voice is pleasant. It's quieter than you would have thought and vibrates at a lower pitch than you'd expect. You were here a little while ago. You burned something in the Crossroads in a box. He takes a few long-legged strides towards you. The easy gait, disguising how much distance he actually covers, is an arm's length away, within a few steps. Why are you here? It was my understanding that people come here for promises. You hesitate. People isn't quite the word you would use. Most who come do so because they're close to death. You're clearly not. You're fine, so why are you here? Well, looks can be deceiving. He pauses, like he's waiting for something. Your eyebrow arches higher and higher, but still, he doesn't speak. The silence stretches on too long to be comfortable before he clears his throat and continues. No, I don't need to bargain for my life, but I would like a promise anyway. A promise? For your life? Nah, pretty sure I'm pretty secure in that. But I can seek other promises, right? You hesitate. You've never done something like this before, but a promise is a promise, right? You're about to answer when there's a surprising tug on your brainstem. Your boss's voice rumbles through your mind, gravelly and eager. A shudder of repulsion ripples down your spine. Make the deal. I want him. Make him a promise. You chew your lower lip, your teeth sharp enough to cause pain, but still, you never bleed. Okay, I can make time for a promise. You keep yours. I'll keep mine. I'm familiar, and I know you need a request. You see, I have a very important event coming up in a few days, and I need to make sure I won't oversleep. You blink a few times. It's not until you start to speak that you realize your jaw was slightly ajar. You... What? Yep, you see, I'm a heavy sleeper, so I set alarms. I do the put your phone on the other side of the room thing. I try, but this is a very important event, so I can't really risk it. So I need you to promise me that I'll wake up on time. This feels wrong, like an abuse of power, like using a nuclear weapon to kill a spider. I want him. Make the promise. He'll be back for more. You sigh, unable to hide how absurd you find the request, but you acquiesce. You have no choice, but at least it'll count towards your quota. Okay, I will promise you that you will wake up on time for your event. Can you specifically say you'll... Can we say specifically you'll promise I'll wake up by 7:30 a.m.? You're glaring. You hope he can't see it past the shadow that wreathes your form. Most people can't make out your facial expression or features, and he should be no different. I promise you will wake up by 7:30 a.m. in time for your event, if you promise to bring a gift to the Crossroads before your event. What kind of gift? A flower. Yeah, bring me a flower. It's an awkward demand, but it's simple enough that he'll actually do it, and it will get him back. That is what your boss wants. He'll get more comfortable at some point and start promising more and more. At least, that's the plan. Absolutely, I promise. The casual tone of these promises are unsettling, but you proceed, feeling very much like he has the upper hand somehow. What? Another riddle? What? What has 4 legs in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 in the evening? It should be people or humans. It's either people or humans. This is a very simple one. People. What do you mean, no? Okay, human. Alright, that was right. Because here's the thing, like, I get that you need to answer the riddle correctly, but both human and, like, people would more or less, like, work in terms of this riddle. I'm guessing there's a reason why it wants me to answer specifically human, because I see that the U is highlighted for some reason. You wait for the usual unfolding of information, for the knowing to settle into your being, like a long-held memory, but it never does. You linger a beat, but still, nothing happens. Perhaps the deal was so small it was insignificant? This thought offers you no comfort. However, as that either means you failed to lure him into greater promises, or I'll see you soon then. You startle, blinking your vision into focus. You hadn't expected him to still be here. You weren't sure what you had expected, but the petitioners usually were yanked back into their bodies or moved on, but this person just stands here, staring at you, smiling. My name's Jesse, by the way. He says as he turns to leave, chuckling. You stare after him, dumbfounded. You've forgotten to ask his name. How had you forgotten to even ask his name? I mean, I guess you were a bit dumbfounded by how beautiful he looked. It takes him a few days, but he does return. Jesse places a long-stemmed flower on the nearby flat rock, not far from the road. You recognize the flower quickly. It's the same one he brought with him initially and burned. But now, instead of one short sprig, there's a small bundle of the dainty yellow flowers. Their fern-like leaves fan out below the cluster of flowers and paint a pretty sight. They remind you of something. Wildflowers, maybe? As promised. Your head tilts slightly, and you examine this man. He can't possibly be what he seems to be. Can he? You still see me.
Appears so.
My God, his voice! Oh! You wish you could lift your feet so you could shift your stance, put a little distance between you both, but your feet don't budge. They never budge. Until next time. He turns to leave, and your heart lurches into your throat. He can't leave yet. He can't! Wait! He stops, and you're left grasping for something, anything to say that might get him to stay. You want me to make another promise, right? Yeah? The answer feels misshapen in your mouth, like a lie. You ignore it. Isn't there something else you'd like? I can make far better promises than timeliness.
Oh, another time, beautiful.
Oh my God, his voice! Oh, it's so deep! He's gone. No petitioners come. It's lonely. Why do you look so tired?
You're funny.
That doesn't sound very Crossroad devil of you. You grit your teeth. You're not sure why you'd ask. The question had leapt from your tongue before you could even consider it. Is it possible you're concerned? Don't be ridiculous. It was a curiosity, not care. Perhaps I can interest you in a promise to address that exhaustion. Jesse's smile falters a moment. You're certain of it. You just don't understand why. Well, luckily for you, I am indeed here because I seek a promise. You take a slow, deep inhale to keep yourself calm. He's mimicking your speech patterns, and poorly, but engaging in whatever absurdities he is trying to orchestrate isn't going to help. What do you seek? I'm going out to dinner tomorrow. Pizza. And I plan on wearing my favorite shirt. I want a promise that won't get stained. What are these? I swear, I feel like you're just making these promises just to see me again. God. You're almost angry at yourself that you are at him for thinking for a moment that he will take this seriously, that you may be able to get your boss to give you some room to breathe. As it is, you can feel the warm heat of his breath against your scalp, as if he looms just over you, watching, waiting. You want to promise that you won't stain your shirt. After a long pause, you come up with your promise. This could work. I will promise that you will not stain your favorite shirt at dinner tomorrow night. You must promise not to turn on any lights in your home until after that dinner. You're ready for whatever he has to say. Except, of course, what he says. I promise. You blink. You hesitate. But it's begun. There's no going back now. Right, new riddle. Here we go. I breathe, yet am not alive. My lips are never of love. The more you feed me, the hungrier I become. Is it fire? Wait, but fire doesn't breathe. What breathes? Okay, admittedly, I need a hint, and it says gives life but can destroy. I don't know what that means. Okay, I breathe, yet I'm not alive. My legs are never of love. Fire does not breathe. But wait, can fire give life? Does fire give life? Yeah, to machines. Like, fire gives life to machines. But it doesn't breathe. Does fire breathe? Fire breathe! Fire breathe! Fire! Alright, got it. Fire. R-E. Okay. You don't get the full information you're used to. Usually you can follow someone from their promise through to their end, but with Jesse, you only know a small part of what comes next. You know that he will keep his promise. You know that it also won't do what it was intended to do. He won't trip or hurt himself. There will be no catastrophe to drive him to a more drastic deal, or even better, to becoming a true petitioner. You know, don't you? You know that I won't break my promise. You don't answer him. You don't have to. All you need to do is get him to come back. You know, I can almost see that foul face you're making at me. Your eyebrow shoots up. The shadow that wraps around your devil form obscure all sight. You can't even see past them to the true shape of your own hands. How could he see your expression? He looks so damn smug. You wish you couldn't see his. Are you here every night? Yeah, I am. You have no idea how to conduct yourself. Petitioners are supposed to leave after an exchange of promises, and yet once again, Jesse remains directly in place, as if the Crossroad is the only place he wants to be. Perhaps this is why your boss usually dislikes dealing with the living so much. They linger. You don't really like talking, don't you? I'm not here to talk. I'm here to conduct business, and we have conducted ours for the time being. That is wildly rude. It is not. It's just the truth. I don't understand why you keep hanging around here. You can feel your boss bristling behind you. Something about Jesse provokes him so forcefully that you can feel it, like electricity arcing from an unknown source to you. And there Jesse stands, completely oblivious to how his mere presence sets your boss into a blind rage. The presence of your boss gets closer and closer until you can't shake the feeling that he's leaning over you to snarl in Jesse's face. He can't touch Jesse, of course, not without the right promise, which is partly why he's so frustrated. But you've made a promise to your boss. You fall under his influence. Fear rips through your chest, sudden and uncontrolled. It clouds your mind, and only one thought makes it through. Get Jesse away. Get Jesse away now! I have no other business to conduct, and you're in the way. You need to leave. The words fly from your mouth before your mind catches up and are disproportionately harsh, but you can't bother yourself with his feelings right now. Okay. His agreement is surprising. It's more than surprising. It's out of character. But you don't worry about questioning it right now. It's just not the time. I'll see you tomorrow. Wait, what? Your boss's presence becomes a physical force against your back, towering over you. You know, if you were to turn right now, there would be nothing but the wide open road leading into the distance. But this knowledge doesn't make you feel better. On the contrary, you feel much, much worse. You can't see him. You can't touch him, but the rake of his claws, sharper than a razor, down the side of your neck, are all you need to know that he can absolutely touch you. You let him live. Again. He'll come back. I grow tired of that answer. I do not care that he comes back. I care that he leaves. Oh, hi. You've never been so relieved to see a petitioner. Your boss's presence dissipates in the breeze, as if he'd never been more than a heavy fog in the first place. If you can collect on the spirit, maybe you can get a little breathing room. You'd give anything for just a little breathing room. What's your name? Arnold. Who are you? What's happening? You're dying, Arnold. As we speak, your body is failing you, and you are dying. But you have an opportunity. You are at a crossroads, and I deal in promises. I get it. Your eyebrows raise, practically kissing your hairline. Oh? You do? Yeah, not too long ago, I was pretty important too. Barely a few minutes ago, I was the strongest boss in one of the most widespread criminal organizations in the country. I know a negotiation when I see one. I see. Arnold laughs. It's a strange sound from Spirit, a raspy, windy sound that seems like it could be painful to make. I'm not gonna be bashful about it here. Who cares here? Only you. And there's only one part of that you need to care about, and that's why I need to know how to negotiate a deal. So let's negotiate. You don't know how to react to this petitioner. This is not the easy win you'd be hoping for, but it does feel doable. Now, what kind of things do you deal in? I deal in promises and second chances. You watched a man grow uncomfortable. The confidence isn't genuine. It's put on, and it's wavered in the face of the notion of second chances. Tell me what it is you need, Arnold. I will make you a promise, and then you will need to make one in return. As long as we both keep our promises. Yeah, I get it. I get the idea. But what I need is to go back. I was in the middle of so much. I had projects blossoming, and I had new neighborhoods coming under my control. I had... Arnold's voice cracks, and then he starts talking again. He almost sounds teary. I had Paul. Who's Paul? And I'm guessing they're an item. My husband, the saint. He waited while I went up through the ranks to even get married. Then we finally got married, and nothing changed. I still worked day and night. I still screwed around. I wasn't the husband he deserved. Hell, I wasn't the husband anyone deserves. You telling me I could get another chance with him? His business is unfinished. Do you send him back? Offer him a promise that he can live out the rest of his days with his husband, but must confess his adultery. He can have one more year, but he must spend it righting the wrongs of his organization. You must give him a deal. Boss is watching. I'ma do this, yeah. I can promise you the rest of your days with your husband. You will live as long as he does, so you may grow old together, if that is what you wish. But in return, you must promise me that you will confess to your adultery. Hey, no, that's not what I told you. I would have known whether you told me or not, Arnold. And is that not part of the message here? Poetic, I think. You say you want to be a better husband, the one he deserves? That begins with honesty. It has to be something else. I have money. I don't care about money, Arnold. I care about promises and what comes next. You're what we may call a risky investment. You already broke your promises, so this is my offer. You may take it or you may go. Arnold agrees. I promise. Right, what's the riddle here? What costs more than life, less than air, defies death and humbles the gods? Wait, what costs more than life and less than air, defies death and humbles the gods? I have no idea. I'm gonna need to look at the hint for this. God. Okay, what is it? Oh, I think I know. It's, nothing. Right, nice. Nothing. You feel the moment that Arnold tells Paul the truth. He does not escape his fate. He does not make excuses, and Paul is devastated. You know Paul sees him differently. The man he thought could be bad to many, but never to him. It is not the relationship he thought they had. He will withdraw from Arnold. He can't help it. He cannot look at him most days. He most certainly won't be able to touch him or speak with him. Arnold had thought he'd known loneliness, but no, he will know true loneliness. Still, he will stay. He cannot leave Paul. He will throw himself into acts of charity and goodness, trying to forge himself into the version of himself Paul always saw and believed in. His regrets will consume him, but he'll try to build something of them anyway. Arnold cannot bear to leave Paul, but finally, 4 years after the revelation of Arnold's affairs, Paul will leave. When he goes, so too will Arnold's spirit. The intensity of Arnold and Paul's regrets feels like bile in your stomach, a burning weight you do nearly anything to rid yourself of. Their regret was some of the most potent, but you don't think you've come across a petitioner who wasn't filled with it. Whose final thoughts were not of the lives they'd lead, the people they'd love, but instead of all the sorrow for what they should have done. They grieved the lives they didn't have instead of the ones they did. You let your head rest in your hands, pressing your cool fingers to your temples. You wish you could sit. Man, poor Crossroads demon, like he's just been up and at it at his job for I have no idea how long. It's probably been eons at this point. You expect to have your time to breathe, take in the night air. It doesn't matter what you expected, because Jesse is already here.
Hey.
Oh. He lets out a laugh, sounding as surprised as you feel. Did I startle you? Well, I don't usually have visitors right away, much less ones who are living. You fight with a smile. It feels stiff on your face, like the muscles aren't used to pushing and pulling in this shape, but it forms nonetheless. You know, I think this is the clearest I've been able to make out your face so far. I mean, I can't see it, but I can almost see the movement of it. I can imagine the face you're making based on that. It's an odd feeling, being seen. You have questions. You have concerns. Why are you covered in shadow like that? Why hide your face? It wasn't something you thought about, and yet the answer comes easily, like something you've always known. I steal from death. It doesn't like thieves. Wisdom says I keep my face hidden. Do you ever take it off? No. Maybe this is a weird question, but have you seen your face? Even know what you look like? You're about to call him absurd. Of course you know what you look like. Who doesn't know their own face? But then you try to picture it. You try to conjure up the image of your own face, the shape of your eyes or the color of your skin, the bend of your nose or the bow of your lips. All you can see is shadows, shadows upon shadows, layered around your body like bandages, obscuring everything, and the two curved, sharp horns upon your head. Your eyes hurt. They burn and feel hot, and when you blink to try to ease the discomfort, your eyes feel wet. Why are you here, Jesse? Jesse's smile is warm and very focused on you for a moment. It's difficult not to look away. I came to ask for a promise, of course. You can't help but perk up at that, swinging your attention back towards him. In the back of your mind, you feel the beginning rumblings of your boss, paying attention to what's happening at the crossroads. You did? I did. You want to hear what it is? You're immediately suspicious, but captive audience you are, you concede. What is it you need? I want you to promise to sit and talk to me this evening. You stare at him, waiting, but because there's no way that he meant that. I understand that you're going to try and wait me out, but I am in fact being serious.
Let's make a deal.
This is what I want promised to me. Now, what can I promise to you in return? It feels like your throat is closing up. The weight of your boss's presence is coming down on you slowly but surely, pressing you down into the deepest recesses of your mind. Damn it, he's gonna force you to take the promise. What was he thinking? Offering something like that? How reckless, how immeasurably stupid. You scramble for an idea. Any idea that would satisfy your boss for the time. But doesn't end with... You can sit with me and talk, but you have to observe any petitioners who come in. See the process. You cannot interfere or ask questions.
I promise.
Okay, well, deal made then. You really should be more careful about how you just throw those words around. He lets out a bark of surprised laughter, looking genuinely pleased. You don't know how to take it, so you ignore it. Jesse settles himself in the road, legs sprawled out before him. So, tell me about yourself. You glare at him. No. Tess, you can't just say no. You promised to talk to me, have an actual conversation. So now, we talk. You groan loudly. We can talk about you then. I already know about me, and that isn't how conversations work. You groan again.
Let's make a deal.
Fine. How about this? I'll offer you a little miniature game of promises. A game of chance, really. He pulls a shiny silver coin from his jacket pocket, holding it up for you to see. I'll flip the coin. You're gonna call it in the air. Whoever side gets called has to answer a question. You glare at him and cross your arms over your chest. Ready? No, this is stupid. Call it! Heads! Heads! You have to answer a question. This is incredibly dumb. It's how the game works. You can't argue with that, at least. You groan loudly, but wave a hand at him to go ahead. Fine, go ahead. I didn't think you'd actually agree. I'm required to uphold my end of all promises. Required by who? A very powerful being. That was your question. Ah, God! You suppress a laugh, turning your head so he won't see the smile on your face. You don't want to encourage this nonsense. Your eyes shift from Jesse to the new presence at the crossroads. We have company. Without any additional prompting, Jesse withdraws to the grass beside the roads, putting a respectable distance between you both. If you're being honest, you appreciate not having to repeat yourself. Rippling waves of anxious energy emanates from the petitioner, and it begins speaking the moment you turn your attention towards it. Please, you have to help me. This can't be happening. My poor animals, What is your name? The spirit is obviously distressed. It seems ready to unravel into wisps of smoke at any moment, the agony of its desperation slowly shredding it. But the moment you begin to speak, you can tell it is trying to focus on you. Lydia. My name is Lydia. And what it is you're looking for, Lydia? What do you need? You can feel Jesse's eyes on you, and you can't help but glance his way. You see no sign that he can see the spirit. His eyes never leave you. You wonder if he can hear her. Suddenly, you do not like this promise of his. It doesn't feel so innocent. You've never had to have someone watch while you promise away the souls of the innocent. You find you really don't like the idea of him seeing the side of you. The spirit sways back and forth and side to side, but it doesn't have any further outbursts. It is, you think, the most distressed soul you've ever seen in your crossroads. I understand that if it's my time, I should go. I do. I'm not afraid of dying. I have more time than most. It's my animals. They're alone. I've been living off on my own for so long. I don't have anyone anymore. It's just me and them. I can't leave them and then just never return. They won't understand. The worst, there will be no one to care for them. Lydia lets out a low groan of agony. They'll starve. It's a slow, cruel fate. Please, I need to go back for them. You can take my soul. Just give me a chance to find them all good homes. Let me save my loves. This will be very, very easy. You will accept the terms she presents. They're lopsided, but they're her wishes. You propose a different promise. You want to help her, but you find you don't want your boss to have her. I'll accept the terms. I can promise you this. You will live until all your animals have new appropriate homes, as long as you avoid another untimely, unusual event. In return, you must promise your soul to the Crossroad. This must happen as soon as you return. No matter what happens, your soul will be the payment for your return. Souls cannot truly weep, but Lydia comes very close. Her gratitude is overwhelming, and it makes you feel slimy, disgusting. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I promise. I need you to say the words. I promise. Excellent. Right, let's solve the riddle now, shall we? What do the king, the peasant, and swine, and the oak all know? What? That's... I don't know. What? Wait, hang on. I need to see the... It's inevitable. Oh, okay, death. It's death. Nice. All right. So, what you got for me? Death. You don't need to question it, and you don't need the unfurling confirmation in your mind to tell you that Lydia will keep her promises for her pets, her family. She will do anything. You feel the moment her soul is sworn, not long after she returns to her body. It will go to your boss as soon as all of her creatures are accounted for. You cannot shake this feeling of remorse. It tastes like bile in your mouth. You stand alone for only long enough to gather yourself before Jesse returns. Are you okay? That seemed rough. I'm fine. Your voice creaks heavily with emotion. What is happening? You've never struggled after a promise like this before. It's not your fault. So why do you feel such guilt? Grief? Jesse's hand comes up, stopping a few inches shy of your face, as if he meant to touch you, to comfort you. He doesn't cross the bounds. He doesn't make that contact. He doesn't even speak. But somehow, his hand there, just visible in the corner of your eye, it helps. You can almost imagine how the heat of his palm would feel on your cheeks. He stays like that, watching your face, until you exhale loudly and adjust your stance. His hand drops. So, shall we continue our game? The teasing tone of his voice eases the pain in your chest, and you smother a hysterical laugh that bubbles in your throat. Instead, you mask it with a fake groan of annoyance, which earns you a chuckle from him. I don't see why you're so stubborn about this. It's just talking. Doesn't have to be so hard. Well, for some of us, it is hard. Some of us have other things going on. What do you have going on? I didn't win in a coin toss, so I don't have to answer that. Fine, fine. Beat me at my own game. Just flip your coin. Alright, I even let you call it again. Right, I'm gonna go for heads again. Heads never loses! Huh. Interesting strategy. I see what you're doing. The odds are 50-50, no matter how many times in a row you flip it. Yeah, but still a bold move. I like it. Flip the coin. Heads again. Wow, what are the odds? 50-50. I just said that. Don't get smart with me. You know that wasn't my question. You sigh loudly. Fine, ass, you keep blathering on. We'll get interrupted again. Do you like what you do? You frown, trying to wrap your mind around the question, and you find you simply can't. I don't know. I just do it. This is less something I do and more something I am. You sure that this is what you are? Your mind is tugged to a flicker of something so far in the distance, you're not sure if it's real. It's almost familiar, but the shape of it is wrong. It doesn't fit. But your boss, he is real, and you can feel him, just over your shoulder, waiting. Yeah, this is all that I am. I don't believe that. You wait, unease growing in your gut. The slowly extending silence makes it worse. Are you going to flip the coin again? Do you want me to ask you another question? Do you find yourself enjoying our little game? No, you! You fumble uselessly for a full sentence, the majority of a phrase, a solid declaration, a semblance of a thought, anything at all. Instead, you sputter helplessly. Your face feels painfully hot.
You're funny.
Feeling a little bashful? Beautiful. Jesse, I'm the one who's supposed to be flirting with eldritch beings beyond our comprehension. You're not supposed to be flirting with me. Like, god damn it, Jesse. I was being generous. This is your game. I don't care. Besides, you probably cheated. Cheated? In a game of chance. You glare at him. He's not supposed to be able to see you, but you suppose he can tell. He shakes his head at you, then makes a circling gesture with his hand. Fine. Last one for tonight? Okay, but I'm going to flip the coin. You can call it. Oh? His smile is dazzling. You want to flip the coin? Why is that? I told you. You're almost definitely cheating. It's probably a double-sided coin, or you're lying about the result. It's a conversation, not a competition. You snort at him and roll your eyes. It's most definitely a competition. Jesse's expression shifts, his eyes locking onto yours. His smile softens around the edges. Alright, of course. You would think so. Silly me. He closes the distance, stopping just in front of you. You hold out your palm for the coin. His gaze trails from your hand to your face, then back again. Without ever breaking your gaze, he drops the coin into your palm. His fingers brush the shadows, then through them. The contact of his skin against yours sends a shock all the way through your arm, and you jerk your hand away, nearly dropping the coin. You can't put words to how he's looking at you. You focus on the coin instead.
Flip a coin.
Go ahead. Flip a coin. It's not double-sided. Call it. Tails. It lands in your palm, tail side up. It's tails. Go ahead. Ask me a question. Why are you here? Why do you come to the crossroads and ask for such trivial, mundane things? You're the one with all the fiendish insight, aren't you? Can't you tell? You hate to do it, but you shake your head slowly. Admitting that you can't read him feels like baring your naked body to the enemy. It really bothers you, doesn't it? That my deals are so small? He's not wrong, even if he isn't quite right either. It's not my turn to answer. You have to answer, or... You pause, questioning the wisdom of your next words before you continue anyway. Or you could make a real deal with me. Maybe you just don't have anything I want. That's absurd. You come here all the time. There has to be something you want. Something you're building up the nerve to ask for. When Jesse looks at you again, he finds your eyes instantly. He shouldn't be able to do that. He shouldn't be able to easily sift through the shadows, but he does. He shouldn't be able to see where they are, but he stares knowingly into your eyes. It's so bizarre and distracting that you startle when he speaks. You're right. There is something I want. He steps away and you feel hollow. Keep the coin. And then he's gone, and you're left holding the silver coin, the only proof he was ever there at all. You're back.
Appears so.
Are you going to make a real deal with me, or are you here to... Are you here to be sure they have eggs at the supermarket tomorrow? No more niceties, huh? You roll your eyes. The presence of your boss thuds in your temples, aches in your jaw, makes your teeth painful. You suspect that he is keeping a very close eye on you since Jesse is here. He's getting tired of waiting. You're out of time. I don't like niceties, and this isn't about that. You sound upset with me. Are you? No? You're terrible at hiding your feelings. Not only are they written all over your face, but they vibrate off of you like static. I can feel you're upset, so you may as well admit it. I just don't understand, and I'd like to. If you're not here to make a deal, I don't understand why you keep returning. I'll make a deal with you. You scoff and roll your eyes. Yes, where have I heard that before? I'll make a deal, but I want you to ask me your question before I tell you what it is I want. You open your mouth to object, but he interjects, continuing. And I want to ask you a question too. You're mad at yourself for thinking for even a moment that he could take this seriously. You wish you could leave your spot so you wouldn't have to stand here and listen to him. That's not how it's... Your mind nearly splits with a bolt of pain as your boss lunges inside, clamping down on the words before they can fully leave your mouth. Do not let him go. Make the deal. Make it now. He cannot slip away from me again. Take the deal. What is it? What's happening? You realize you're bent over, nearly in half, clutching your head. The echoes of the pain are now fading, and you start to feel foolish, exposed. You straighten, and your breaths come in huffs, as if you're winded. Your head swims unhappily. Your boss is holding on too tightly. This better not be another BS deal. He doesn't answer, only watches you. Is something happening? Are you okay? Just make your promise. I promise. A smile creaks across your face. You have just the thing for him. Just the test. Why is a raven like a writing desk? I haven't the slightest idea. You tilt your head slightly at him. Something in your mind is unfurling. It tickles. The petals of a flower under the influence of spring. You're afraid if you look too closely at it, it'll wither under the force of your gaze. What is it you seek promised to you? His eyes burn with an intensity that makes him look a light in the darkness. You. Well, I knew that this was where it was going, but at the same time, it kind of came out of left field there. My turn. My question. What? Okay, riddle time. What is your... My name? My name is Lion. You still have the coin? You're about to deny it, but then you feel it. The coin is still held in your hand. Your fingers curl protectively around it. You hold your hand out to him, and the shadows that cling to your skin seem to ripple, revealing the coin. He looks relieved, and curiosity pricks your interest. Keep your hand like that. You obey, but a slow, creeping feeling of dread begins to mount your spine. You expect your boss to intervene, but instead, you feel his chuckle building at the back of your throat. Interesting. Jesse pulls a flower from his jacket pocket. It's the same flower he brought you for his first promise. The tiny yellow flower clusters are slightly crushed. He places the flower into your palm atop the coin. You're not surprised that you can't really feel it. You know something is there, but the finer details of its textures are lost on you. It's simply a slight increase on the weight of your hand, your burden. You watch him pace around you in a circle, looking thoughtful. Then he disappears behind you. You can't quite see what he's doing. He disappears from your sight entirely for a moment. When he circles back into your sight, you can tell he has something clenched in his fist. Your spine wants to shiver, but it isn't made for that. He stands before you, his eyes finding yours once more. His gaze is consuming and intense, and keeps you still. He holds his fisted hand over your outstretched one and pauses. You are what I came to the crossroads for. His fingers unfurl, and a handful of dirt from the very road you stand on falls over the flower and the coin, disappearing beneath the shadow, where it would dust your skin. You expect something to happen, but nothing does. You're about to point out how foolish this is when he suddenly grabs your hand, clutching the dirt, flower, and coin between your palm and his. He's touching you, grabbing your hand. That's impossible. Your fingers lock around his hand with a strength you didn't know you had. It's a reflex, beyond your control. Jesse looked pained, haggard, but you see a twitch of a smile in the corner of his mouth. Then, just as you know the fates of all other promises, you know the fate of this one, the only possible fate. You pull his arm out with your whole strength, yanking him towards you. The shadow engulfs him like fire, lapping over gasoline. You can hear your boss's laughter, wild and wickedly joyful, but it's growing distant. You thrust yourself out of the Crossroad center. The shadows seem to have forgotten you, abandoning you to claim their prize. You burst into the night air, the true night air, not the haunted facsimile you've been trapped in. It's cold, each breath pricking and stinging on the inhale, like needles in your lungs, but you can't stop gasping down deep, delicious breaths. Your legs are stiff and weak, and you fall to your hands and knees in the dirt. You scramble to your feet awkwardly, knees stinging, trying to put some distance between you and the devouring shade.
What the fuck?
What? You turn around to see Jesse. The darkness has its shackles around his wrists. It drags him in. You can feel the empty space inside your head where your boss once was, where the knowledge would seep into your bones after each promise. Both have been carved away, but you don't need them to know that Jesse is already caught. Your boss had wanted him far too badly to ever let him go. You want to run. You don't want to see this, his expression as he's consumed and embalmed into shadow. It's so much more painful to witness than you've ever believed, but your body refuses to obey. You watch on. Then, you feel a warmth on your back. It's the warmth of the dawn's first rays. You turn towards the sun, drawn in helplessly. It's been so long since you saw the sun. So long. The light creeps over the horizon, bringing a cool blue to the sky, and casting gold over the landscape around you. It changes the very scent of the air, kissing your skin and searing off any remaining tatters of shadow. You close your eyes, letting it warm your skin deliciously. Do you remember the last time you saw the sun? You already know what you're going to see, but you turn back anyway. Look towards where Jesse was, moments before, wrapped in shadows. He's gone. You're free. Oh no! I think I screwed up. Well, so now I'm gonna screw up even more. We're gonna go for one of the alternate endings, which is to, deny everyone's requests. No! Just like that, he is gone, moved on. His last breath completes against your face, a rattling, damp thing. You brush off the urge to wipe your face, but there's nothing there, even if you can feel droplets of spittle against your cheek. Wiping it would do nothing except amuse it. What was that? He's angry. You knew he would be. And do your best to ignore the grinding, growling voice that sounds like it's emanating from behind your eyes. That was a perfectly viable soul. He would have broken, and you know it. Oh? It didn't seem so to me. You clench your jaw to brace against the force of the growl he releases. He doesn't believe you. Not at all. You think you spared him. You've spared no one. You've done nothing. The clearing remains empty, nearly peaceful, if the stain of what had just transpired didn't mar it so well. Until it doesn't. And it isn't. But it is not a petitioner. It can't possibly be, for this one is alive. And we're skipping ahead. So I will promise you nothing. You are already gone. The kindest thing you can do is go. There's no promise you can keep to me that would be selfish of you to keep, and your sister will pay the price. What are you doing? Say we're a poor candidate. We aren't going to. It is not your job to let every spirit go. It is your job to deal in promises. Remember, that is your promise. You sigh softly, looking towards the empty patch of grass where Greer stood moments ago. You hope their sister isn't as alone as they said. The man is back. He has an easy way of walking, a casual stride that sways like a jazz tune. He doesn't have the box. And I'm not sure if any of this matters, so we're gonna skip ahead. Right, I've got no choice but to give him a deal, whatever. What? Got it, that flat, come on! Okay, fine. You know what? I'm just gonna go with offer him a promise they can live out the rest of his days, whatever. I just want to ruin him. And this answers nothing. Gonna skip ahead. And, yeah. Like, we've already seen all this. Let's just skip. All right. So, you want to help her, but you find you don't want your boss to have her. She's a loner. It's just her and her animals. A modern-day hermit. You try to use the limited extent of your abilities to detect some other possible exchange. You find none. You cannot offer free help. Your own promise binds you. How will you deal with this petitioner? What? What? I don't want my boss to have her. God damn it. Okay, fine. I will accept the terms. Screw it. Well, I'll skip ahead. Whatever. A shriek tears through your mind. The sound like ripping metal and grinding stones. Pain incarnate. It takes you a minute before you realize that you're screaming. A claw swings down towards your and Jesse's clasped hands. With growing horror, you realize that Jesse cannot see it, and you yank your hand out of the way, narrowly avoiding the razor claws and sending the objects flying. Your body seizes up, becoming immovable. Your nerves burn. The boss has wrestled nearly all control from you, save a small corner of your mind. You help find yourself trapped within, watching on helplessly. You've been a horrible investment. His voice is a hiss, filled with more rage than you can ever remember hearing from him. It fills you with an overwhelming terror that rapidly decays into a profound, consuming dread. I can make no use of you here, but maybe. The smile that comes over his face is cracked and cooked, disjointed. Maybe I can reconcile my losses with you elsewhere. The shadow engulfs you entirely, blotting out everything. The sky, the forest, the moon. Jesse. You feel the tug of movement, and you know in that instant what is happening. Beyond the shadows, you hear Jesse scream. Let's start over somewhere new. Somewhere he will never find you. Oh, okay, sure, whatever. I feel like I screwed up again. But then again, that was the point of that ending. Whatever. Okay, now we gotta go for the true ending. And for this, we need to get our name right. So, I'm just gonna check the hint real quick. We left 2 clues. So, it's basically like, it's gonna leave like various letters that are highlighted. However, like, apparently the right answer is Rue. They're screaming in your head. Your boss's guttural wail is so loud that you can't hear your own thoughts. Everything goes black. Rue. 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 You're drowning in a pool of utter darkness. You thrash frantically towards the surface, your lungs burning. You're suffocating. You're dying. You thrash through the shadows. They're cold, like water, but the tendrils have fingers, teeth. They cling to your skin, to your clothes, wrap around your limbs and pulls. The dark tries to peel back your eyelids, tries to pry open your lips, pulls in your nostrils. It wants in. It will tear you to pieces to get in. On the back of your eyelids, place a slideshow of slow-moving pictures, visions of a person who had been long locked up and buried, left for dead. Rue walking the pavement of the main road, laughing. They spin and jump, a series of clumsy pirouettes before dipping a deep and lopsided bow. Jesse laughs, his expression more free and joyful than you would have thought him capable of. Rue, half asleep on the couch, their head on Jesse's lap. He brushes gentle fingers. They're calloused. You realize, from holding pencils and pens, markers and charcoal, over their cheekbones, down the bridge of their nose, and over their lips. His touch is so gentle, reverent. He outlines their features, one by one, while they swim in and out of dozing. A look of abject fascination. He finds them breathlessly beautiful, art given breath. Rue, walking with their fingers firmly intertwined with Jesse's, their clasped hands swing effortlessly between them. It's a gesture so repeated that it's become ingrained into their movements. Rue and Jesse are each half a gate, swinging counterweights to each other. They're so light, cocooned within their love for each other. They feel safe. They approach an intersection in the middle of the woods, a crossroads. Jesse points towards it. Rue, leaving their bed in the dark of night, returning through the crossroads, alone. Rue, drowning in the shadows, the forks of them shoving into their mouth and down their throat, filling their lungs with cobwebs and dust, sheathing their brain in obscurity and confusion, in nothingness, swaddling them in ribbons upon ribbons of blackness, until they were no longer visible through the depths of the darkness upon them, transforming them into a living shade, crowning them with horns, and then peeling open their eyelids. You claw your way free, and the breath you take upon, breaking the surface of the gloom, rips through your lungs. It burns and tears, and you realize it's a scream. You pull yourself free, with a tearing sensation like leaving skin behind, but your feet move. Rue! You stumble forwards on legs that are too stiff and too weak, and Jesse lurches forward to meet you. Shadows pull away from you in smoky wisps, carried away from a gentle breeze you hadn't known was drifting through the clearing. Strong arms come around you, and you're pulled against a warm body. The feeling of his warmth alone brings tears to your eyes. Your senses rush back. Your vision returns first, somehow both less sharp and more colorful. Then you're overwhelmed with the smell of Jesse, of worn leather, and his spiced aftershave. Finally, sound washes over you. The clearing is not as quiet as you'd believe for so long. There's the rustle of leaves, tossed about by the wind, the rush of your own breath, in and out, and your heartbeat in your ears. Then, rumbling above all of these sounds, the vibrations entering your bones like a prayer, the sweetest sound of all. Jesse, murmuring your name over and over and over.
Rue.
Your arms wind around him. They feel so heavy, but you'd rip each fiber, every shred of muscle, one by one to hold him, to cling to him. Your voice hurts when you speak. Jesse. He gathers your face in his hands, thumb swiping away the tears that flow freely now, and looks at you. Also, you know the shadows are still falling away. His expression leaves no doubt. He sees you. And then he's kissing you. You cling to him, the strength in his embrace, and the sweetness of his breath. You can no longer read emotions the way you did during your time as the Crossroads devil, but you can read him. He cradles you with such devotion. His lips convey every moment of fear, doubt, and horror and guilt, the devastating relief, the unyielding love. And then, for the first time in far too long, you see the sun begin to rise. Was that the true ending? God, I think that was the end. Anyway, that was Promise Me You Live. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. This game was, I'd say it was absolutely beautiful. I loved the writing in this game. I did love the riddles they actually had you try to answer throughout the game. It's great that they actually had a hint system, so I didn't actually need to go back and actually like try to search up the answer for these riddles. Like, it's actually pretty simple enough for you to actually answer on your own. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the day. And as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.